Welcome to This Week in Guns. This show is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network and Patriot Patch Company. This podcast offers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Jake Challen, president of FRN. You make this show possible. That's right. You simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online, and a small portion of your sale goes supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We have a great panel this week. We have Nathan Schuth, Faxon Firearms, Director of Sales, Marketing, and Product Management. Hey, Nathan, what's up?
I am living proof you don't put marketing people in charge of a company.
How many marketing people do you guys have? Jeez. Okay, so Tony Simon, founder. The second is for everyone. Hey, Tony, what's up?
Hey, thanks for having me back. I like being here.
We're going to have to take up a collection offering after the show to get you better internet. Oh,
hey, I'm down with that. Let's roll.
And we have Kurt Stahlbach, or butchered your last name there, Faxon Firearms Marketing Coordinator. Kurt, how do I pronounce your last name correctly?
It's Stahlbach.
How you doing, Kurt?
I'm great. How about you?
Doing good. Welcome to the show. And Troy Clopton of the God and Guns podcast. Hey, Troy.
Hey, how's it going?
Going great.
I'm glad to be here.
The views and opinions, let me just cut you off there. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not necessarily reflect their official policy or position on the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised, especially on live shows. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. I have the Patch of the Month Club, which is now open for enrollment here for a few short weeks. Check out the Patch of the Month Club. You get an exclusive patch and sticker combo sent to your mailbox every month. Exclusive patches, one of a kind. Can't get them anywhere else except for the Patriot Patch of the Month Club. Also have Make America Badass Again t-shirts and morale patches in stock. Check it out, patriotpatch.co. Top stories this week. We're going to start with something on the positive side. 100 rare machine guns will soon be available. Transferable machine guns, nonetheless. Rock Island Auction House has released some teaser information about their upcoming May auction, and they have quite a bit of Class 3 items apparently this time around. Any of you guys lining up?
Cool. So they're pre-86, I guess. Or are they just for the military and police only?
They're all pre-86, and if I say so myself, this is certainly a drool-worthy collection here, especially getting into the 20 millimeter naval cannon for if that suits your fancy.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Let's hope you reload if you get that.
Dylan make a 1050 to do 50 cal.
The trouble is, if you could buy the gun, then you couldn't afford to shoot it, especially on full auto.
I think whoever's buying this can probably afford to shoot it.
But they have things like twin M19 mounted Browning M2s, Colt water-cooled 30 cals, anti-aircraft guns. Just goes all the way down the line. They have M14s, select fire. Some really, really interesting stuff. You should check this link out. It's at guns.com. We have a link in the show notes to it. Other positive news, CCW reciprocity bill introduced into Senate. Fingers crossed.
Yep, fingers crossed.
You think Trump's going to make it that long? I mean, they're trying to keep him out as far as they can go right now.
Well, actually, I'm hoping for the Senate, not Senate bill, the House bill. The House bill will be the one that allows me, that refuses, like New Jersey, that refuses to allow people to get a concealed carry permit. But if I have an out-of-state or non-resident permit in another state, it'll still make the reciprocity would work for me, and I could carry in New Jersey, which will probably never happen.
Yeah, y'all succeed from the union before that happens, won't you?
They just won't allow it to happen. Because all the crimes concealed weapons carriers, permit holders commit.
Yeah.
A bunch of us going amok here. They make it so. The New Jersey laws are so convoluted, you can pretty much go to jail for anything as a legal firearms owner. Having a keychain with a hollow point bullet on it as like a key fob, that's against the law.
Yeah, brandishing
Welcome
ammo.
to Jersey. Yeah, you just can't. No, you can't have hollow points outside of your home or the range. So having one on your keychain, even if it's inert, counts. So it's illegal.
Seriously? Even if it's a nerd?
Yep. Slingshots
Yeah.
in New Jersey. Slingshots in New Jersey are actually illegal, and they fall under the assault weapons ban.
Oh my God. I mean, what does
Not
two
even
rubber
joking.
bands get you in terms of foot-pounds of energy? Like 2?
Two rubber bands get you 5 years in jail if they want to push it.
Oh man, then you walk into my office at home and you have constructive intent.
There you go. See, now you're just being ridiculous.
I mean, first off, they'd arrest me for, the machine gun in my hand right now, but then they would, arrest me for a slingshot. So.
Well, no, just one, the rifle in your hand, and then a bunch of rubber bands. That's an arsenal, dude. An arsenal. I've watched them do, what do you call that when you have the buybacks? I watched them with a buyback, and for the county took it as a photo op. So he's standing there with a Mossberg, what is that, just in case pump shotgun that just has the pistol grip.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding one of those and a high point carbine, and it said they turned in this submachine gun and this sawed-off shotgun. I'm like, you're joking, right? It's like this submachine gun and this sawed-off shotgun, and then they had a barrel of guns they turned in, and like one of them was a Gammo rifle. One was some kind of single shot something. I mean, I'm just looking at it going, what horse crap?
So is a rubber band ball an armory? I mean, by all these definitions?
No, only if you have a forked stick and the rubber band ball.
It's a
What about
Perfect.
paper clip?
No, but what? Okay, we're joking, but this is what is illegal here. I have to have a pistol purchase permit if I want to have a BB pistol. I can drive to Cabela's and pick up a BB pistol or pellet pistol and drive it back to the state, and that's legal. But if I try to order one through a catalog and have it sent here, that's illegal. I need a pistol purchase permit from my local PD to actually do that. Why I do what I do with the second is for everyone, so I can spread this to people who don't know what New Jersey gun laws are. On the jail over something stupid. Welcome to Jersey.
Well, hopefully a nationwide reciprocity bill would fix that for not only New Jersey, but New York, California, other states as well.
Maryland. I mean, there's a lot of us that just got caught up in this whole thing. And because you have large cities, pull the whole state. And New Jersey has lots of cities with over 250,000 people in it. And
Yeah, I just got one city that's a problem here, and it's called Chicago.
Yeah, but it's a huge problem. We have, and listen to this hit parade of peaceful, democratically led cities that have very low crime. Jersey City, Camden, Patterson, New Jersey has sucked since Colt had to close his plant. Patterson is stank. Plainfield. I mean, we just have a bunch of cities that are Democratic strongholds that just drag the rest of the state with it with anti-gun policies. Oh yeah, and Trent.
I don't know if we need to get a collection for him to get better internet, but I can tell you the internet quality here in Ohio is pretty good. So come on in.
Hey, listen, if we leave, all this thing does is spread like the flu. So we have to fight it here. So maybe I'll stop.
We'll just build a wall, Tony. Don't be silly.
Can we build a wall around Trenton first and then fill it with water? And then just fill it with water and call it even?
And that brings us to the end of the positive news.
What part of that was positive again?
California seeks further gun restrictions. Firearms rationing bill introduced in California, where you can limits individuals to one firearm purchase every 30 days. Also, you cannot purchase multiple firearms at one time during like one single background check. Essentially rationing firearms. And
that's a good thing. Really
California.
good thing.
Doesn't New Jersey have that as well, where you can only buy one pistol every 30 days?
One pistol every 30 days, and you can only have 3 pistol permits at one time.
So you can only own 3 pistols at one time.
So the SIG 320 is a big deal for you guys.
Well, that's what's funny, because people go, well, who cares? And it's like, yeah, that's a big deal here. Legally, they're supposed to be able to turn around a pistol purchase permit in 30 days. Say that 3 times real fast. They should be able to do that in 30 days, but they don't. What they do is they delay it. They said some of your references never got back to them. So it can take between 6 months to a year for you to get a pistol purchase permit. A sub compact, a compact, or a full size, yeah, the 320 really kind of works.
Mm-hmm. Well, all I can say is firearms rationing bill is bullshit. Although as an FFL, it means I never have to do a multiple handgun sales sheet ever again. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous. So that means, I mean, what are we doing? Is it for crime that the guy that has 4 ARs at home just needs to pick up the 5th and the 6th one so he can start his shooting spree? I had 2 more AR-15 so I could New York reload them when they run out of bullets. It's ridiculous. This is just another way to infringe on your rights and what people say, because I have people here in New Jersey that wants to argue with me over the whole 1 pistol a month thing. Why do you need more than 1 gun a month? Have to do with anything.
My answer to that one's always, why do you need more than 1 pair of shoes? And that
Well,
kind of ends it.
they have no
Great.
logic here. I mean,
Oh, I know.
I've gone toe to toe with multiple people, not in arguments, just in trying to figure out where their logic is with this.
Yeah, you
I
just
already
have to
have
say,
one.
yeah, where's the data showing that limiting the purchase of guns stops crime or lowers crime?
Wait. And that ties into our next article.
And there you go.
Study state gun laws cost jobs and revenue.
No, not this. Again, can we go back to Colt leaving Patterson in the 1800s, showing you how bad New Jersey is with this? You chase jobs out of the state.
So this largely has to do with Connecticut, with the downfall of the old firearms companies and the Northeast. How since Sandy Hook, it's just become harder and harder to do business in that part of the country. It says overall impact of the firearms industry has decreased from 1.9 billion in 2013 to 1.2 billion in 2016.
Holy smokes. That's a friggin' number right there. I was talking with a buddy over at one of the major companies in New Hampshire. There's 3 or 4 of them. They said they're running into massive issues trying to attract talent to the state, because you're trying to pull executives from their firearms companies, and everyone's looking at them like, nope, not going there.
Right.
Why would you want to go somewhere where you could be shut down immediately? It's just ridiculous. They can come up with some silly law and say the most ridiculous things in public in front of a microphone, and they still shut your business down. Why would you even want to subject yourself to that? Move to a gun-friendly state.
So they said in 2013 they paid $134 million in state taxes to Connecticut. If they would have kept that same pace moving forward, Connecticut would have had another $140 million today.
I mean, how does, if anything, politicians understand it's money.
Right.
That's a heck of a statement. But hey, South Carolina wins, Texas wins, Bama and Georgia win.
So the number of workers you brought up, Nate, is just really fascinating here. In 2013, Connecticut had 8,000 people working in the firearms industry in related fields, and last year that number was only 4,900.
Oh,
It does not bother these people, the politicians, in the least bit. They don't care if they don't really make money because it makes no difference. People are still going to elect them. No one is ever going to hold their feet to the fire. You know what I mean? Everybody's broke. And it's like, no.
At some point, they're going to be so bankrupt, though, that I don't see how they can keep going. I mean, I don't know who keeps loaning them money, but all these states have been there upside down by billions of dollars.
Yeah. And they'll blame.
They're running all the jobs.
Yeah. And they'll blame the other party for it.
Yep. Every time.
Every time. Like, nope, it's not us. Like, it's not us. It's the other guy.
Well, so what would it take for a company like the size of Remington to pick up a factory and move?
ooh, a demonstrated business case. So, say if we were in the same position, which we're not, God bless Ohio, and they kick ass and let us pretty much do whatever we want, within reasonable boundaries. You'd have to be able to show you're either going to save a significant amount or you're going to reduce your headache a significant amount. And when you consider that the cost of moving a factory of that size in and of itself is $100 million, you're telling somebody there's got to be $100 million of benefit to move this. Think about that for a second. That's a massive amount of money for somebody to go, you know what, I'm going to go through the pain of setting up an entirely new workforce in another state. And you just have to look at it from that perspective. They left because it's that bad.
Well, I mean, it also builds off the fact that if they're leaving on their terms, on their timetable, and like we were saying, if one day they come in and just shut you down, I mean, the loss there is insane. So, I mean, I can't blame them.
Plus, if Remington moved, their quality control might fall off, and you wouldn't want that to happen.
Ooh.
Hey, I don't need any more Remington hate mail, okay?
From Remington?
What did I say?
Sponsor this week.
All right.
When I was in industrial sales, I sold equipment to factories, and so when a factory would move, there was a lot of other factors. I mean, the states in the South were offering, hey, no taxes for on your investment, and they would offer them free land to build on. They would, they would do training programs for the population in the area to try to specifically train them for the kind of jobs coming in. So there's a lot of local investment in the southern states, I know, for a fact, to try to get those jobs out of the north and out of the northeast. And
here's something else that they don't talk about. We had one of our prisons, the newest prison in the state, through some political backbiting BS, they shut it down, tore the whole thing down. It's in Camden, New Jersey. All of a sudden, not only were those corrections officers not going there having lunch, the office personnel weren't buying lunch. So you affected businesses all through Camden just based on closing that one prison. So it's not only the fact that you lost 50% of the firearms employees, you lost whatever they brought to the local economy too, because they're not going out to eat as much. You know what I mean? They're not going, taking their families out. They're not buying new stuff.
Well, and you have many cases. Hartford, Connecticut, Colt, the amount of people that work there, Ilion, New York, Remington. Ilion is Remington. And when Remington said, hey, I'm going to start opening this plant in Georgia, if you're the municipal government or hell, anybody in that town, you not start looking at one another going, this ain't good, boys. This ain't good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because nobody opens up in a huge city. They usually open up in small towns because of tax benefits and everything else, and cheaper land and everything. So you just decimate an area when you leave. You're safer now.
Yep.
African American Gun Club membership surges after Trump election.
I got nothing to say. No.
I bring my one black friend.
So this is funny. Arms training company. I do the second is for everyone, and I try to get minorities to come to the range and introduce them to shooting. And I get all kinds of pushback. Now all of a sudden Trump becomes president, and I found a whole bunch of new best friends that want to come hang out with me. My thing, and my argument was always, being African American, being raised and born in this country with the history we have, you do have to be able to protect yourself against a tyrannical government based upon our history. And I got all kinds of pushback that everything's great. Everything's great now. Now all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people understand what the Second Amendment was really based upon. And I'm like, hey, welcome to the club. But understand, once you get in, you can't just turn this off. So yeah, welcome. Come on down.
And you look at prohibition and other things when you go into the past, kind of that same argument of you shan't do that. Well, what people realize is when you drink, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So you're telling me I can't have fun? What? And everyone's starting to recognize that. And then you've got, of course, the side where whether it's black guys or Democrats realizing, oh, wow, I should be able to protect myself. Well, great. Welcome to the club, boys. Come on in.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, come on in and now learn what this is about. Learn how to operate this thing safely and learn how to continue being able to own this. And all of a sudden, you just turned everything up. You should have seen the look on the legislator's face the first time I went and testified. There were 200 pro-gun people in the room, and I was the only black guy amongst them. And they looked at me like I was a unicorn. And it's like, hey, guess what? I was born and raised in the South.
You did say you were the only one.
I was the only one.
In all seriousness, thank you for going out and doing that to show that it's it's not. Yeah, well, of course, we're worried about racial sensitivity here. It's not the white man's passion. It's a fundamental right to defend yourself and defend your freedoms.
Yes, it's a civil right, and it's not based upon anything except being an American citizen, as far as I'm concerned. Grow this, nurture this. This is needed to keep this country what it is. And a freedom that everyone in the world wants to come to. Well, there's a reason we're free. And that's because the tyrannical government is a thing that fears armed people, armed citizens. You can't make someone a slave if they have a gun. That's simple.
So, companion story here, stand your ground laws complicate matters for black gun owners?
I don't know. As far as I know, when I was reading up on stand your ground law, actually, the current stand your ground law in Florida, more African Americans benefited from it than anywhere else. It's like, yes, I lived in a horrible neighborhood. I lived in New Brunswick, which wasn't horrible, but it became so. I lived in Trenton, which was horrible and became worse. I have permission from the state to have a firearm then. You know what I mean? So I had to go home to Virginia and bring back the only rifle I had, which was a 1917 Enfield 30-06. That was my home protection until I got my firearms ID card and all my Jersey paperwork together. And I still don't have a stand your ground law in New Jersey. I would have had to somehow try to get away from them with my wife and my dog.
So you had to find the nearest corner and back into it.
Well, yeah, truthfully, with the size of that rifle, all I had to do was fix the bayonet and wait for them to impale themselves. CC clearing a house CQB with a 30-06, man, you really mean that crap.
It's awesome.
Clearing your house 30-06. You do not worry about over-penetration. You worry about overkill.
Yeah, one, there's no such thing as overkill. Two, right. Over-penetration is just a given.
Hey, wait a second. You said bayonet. You can have a bayonet in New Jersey?
It's a bolt action. I can have a bayonet on a bolt action or a pump action. I cannot have a bayonet on a semi-auto. Makes sense.
Well, that's till tomorrow they hear this.
Well, understand what. Listen, man. Ever since Washington crossed to Delaware, people in Trenton been jumpy about bayonets. That's all I'm saying. There's precedent. There's precedent.
Agent turned off body camera as tensions peaked during Bundy standoff. This came out during a recent court hearing, going all the way back to the standoff in Nevada in 2014. Many of you may remember seeing the news footage of the cowboys on horseback riding through where the feds are trying to basically wrangle their cattle and steal them to go towards their debt of not paying grazing fees to the federal government.
What? He only owed $1 million to the government.
Only.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can certainly get into the justification or lack thereof, depending on your perspective for the Bundys. But I think the important part here is that a public servant decided arbitrarily that I can turn this off because, as it says in the article, it's going to get Western. If anything, that would have been the time that thing's supposed to turn on. That is an egregious breach of trust. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, of a police officer, because I understand cops are originally very sensitive to body cameras, but more and more data is coming out that far more often it exonerates the officer than the opposite. And the implication here, especially with the way the guy said it's going to get Western, is that, he was about to do some stupid shit that otherwise would be illegal. And I don't agree with that. That drives me bonkers. So.
Here's the thing. When cops stop believing in the system they're supposed to be standing up for, they have to be squashed. He should be punished to whatever degree you can get him for it, because that shows the cops in the system don't trust the system. And that's a problem.
That's a solid point there. So
working in the Department of Corrections, trust me, you do not get away with that. When you have a camera move, when you have someone that has to be on camera, you cannot play jokes anymore. Back in the day when they did a camera move, especially if the guy needed to be bounced off a wall or two, they'd find a short sergeant to walk behind the tallest dude during the camera move. So all you got was video of the guy in front of you's back fall down a lot. So they stopped that. You can't do that anymore. And it's fine. I mean, you just find other ways to have people fall down. That's all.
And I hate to say it, but by my definition, that's wrong too.
Yes, it is.
Now, don't get me wrong. I occasionally find it quite funny, but that's also a morbid sense of humor. So,
No. It is a morbid sense of humor, but yeah, you're right. You have to do, and that's why they started burning cops. And I'm talking about firing because it had to happen. You can't let this go on because there's going to be someone that pushes it too far and someone's going to die.
So this is a BLM ranger that was involved in this. One of his quotes is, "I'm more aware of my surroundings now," he said when asked about the incident that affected about how it affected his job. He says, "But I'm a little bit more leery of people carrying guns and how they're carrying guns."
Okay. But he also stated, what's the purpose of having a body camera? The purpose of the body camera is to record the incident, however, that's the rough equivalent mentally of, I support the Second Amendment, but...
I love this. I was under a lot of stress at that point. Well, that's when you're worst at being able to tell someone what actually happened. You know what I mean? That's when your recall is the worst. And if you did the right thing, and if you follow your rules, again, like you said, it would exonerate you. But no, you wanted to shut this off because you were about to do some dirt. Oh, and this is also something. Again, he said he shut this off. Don't say stupid stuff while you're on camera, just in case your camera turns off.
That's my point, is that I'm like, okay, you've got a high profile case, and then you're going to audibly say, "Oh, I'm going to turn this off. This is about to." How is this good in any way for you?
All right, I'll say this. Sometimes you end up working with stupid people. I know you guys can't believe that, especially in state and federal government. But sometimes that dude next to you is really dumb. And they say really dumb things.
Well, I think part of the problem, we've talked about this before, but I think part of the problem is having the feds involved in disputes like this on land out west. I mean, can we do away with the department, Bureau of Land Management, and offload that off to the states? I don't see. I really
The
don't
land
see
they
a
were
reason
on
for
was
it.
actually state land. It wasn't even federal land. That whole dispute when it finally came out, land it wasn't federal land that they were trying to victim off of.
And understand, if you cut out the federal government, then that means all the payoffs and kickbacks go from federal level, and they'll just lose that money.
This is what happens when someone says, there should be a law against that. Fill in the blank. Stuff like this happens when people say that.
People want laws, don't understand the consequences that any law you pass will have to be enforced by a man with a gun and a badge. Is it, whatever you're talking about, is it worth someone getting killed over? Because that's what it can come down to.
All right. Pledge your support for this show. We leave the cameras on all the time. You can go to firearmsradio.tv/pledge to support Pro Gun Radio. You can pledge as little as $5 an episode. You can also pledge at the $30 a month level and become a free member of the Patch of the Month Club over at Patriot Patch, and also get to hang out with us after every other episode of This Week in Guns. Check it out. Firearmsradio.tv/pledge. Support Pro Gun Radio. We have an update on the Gander Mountain I don't know, bankruptcy allegations. They've come out with a public statement basically not saying anything.
Gander Mountain's public statement is, we like purple and unicorns. Candy is good. I didn't take a shower today. My feet hurt.
And we are still the source for all your outdoor and adventure needs.
Yeah, I take a perspective of not making fun of them, and by all means do. But the way I read the statement is, one, we're privately owned, piss off. Which, okay, that's fair. It's a privately owned company. But two, when you read through the marketing lingo and professional doublespeak, what they're also saying is we're doing this because we have to. What's more important to me is what's implied of we're going to come out of this and still be in business. So it's not liquidation. It is strategic bankruptcy to right-size the company. Because often when you get saddled with so much debt, you just don't have room to maneuver. And that's the whole purpose of bankruptcy here, is to give them the options that they need to right-size the company. So hopefully that means for all of us gun guys, there's more firearm super centers around the country. And to me, that's a good thing.
Yeah, when they're in the bankruptcy, go ahead. When they're in the bankruptcy, they have to try to keep that stock from dropping, even if it's privately owned, because if the other lenders start pulling their notes out and pull out their working capital, then it collapses quick. And they're trying to, I would imagine, they're trying to keep that in more of a manageable. Sell off the portions they can to try to keep the most value they can for the company, because if they let the rumors get out there that they're upside down, they can't get out of it, it goes to a fire sale.
Oh, right. But that's the purpose of the bankruptcy, is it provides basically a freeze to all debts, and it gives them the opportunity to pick and choose what's going to be for the purposes of best for the company, assuming they're going through reorg. So.
Well, even if they're going through a reorg, I'm just as pissed at them, because I'm like, how can you charge that much for everything in your store and still be this poor off financially?
Exactly.
Well, but when you have 162 stores,
that's a lot of overhead.
Yeah, in the age of the internet and shopping online, I mean, how many people go into a Gander Mountain, figure out what size they want, and then go on Amazon?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's their big issue here. I did not know this. They're the they claim to be the largest outdoor retail network with 162 specialty stores across 26 states.
Yeah, you were reading that like it was fact because according to Disney, that's the funniest place on earth. So I mean, because that's Cabela's.
So, uh, yeah, did they overextend themselves? Did they not look ahead and see the internet age taking their taking their feet out from under them? I'm really curious what happened here behind
I
this.
think a lot of things happen when you have 162 stores. You're a pretty big ship, and you can't just turn around on a dime.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't shift policy without a lot of stuff happening, and sometimes you just have to ride it out. And bankruptcy can just be part of their policy of how they're going to handle things.
And I mean, the other end of that too is even if they were to consolidate and close some stores, they still own that property and they still have to pay rent and utilities on that property. And I mean, yeah, it's obviously not as expensive as a store, but it's pretty substantial, you know. And I mean, you can see that in a lot of these brick and mortar sporting goods stores. There's a fair bit of consolidation going on.
Right.
Well, I think their customer service, their customer interactions has to be revamped, because whenever I share something like this or talk about it, there's so many people that are like, yeah, Intermountain sucks. People at the gun counter are stupid. You know, get tons of comments like that. So obviously something needs to change in the culture of that company.
You know what?
That's if they go ahead.
I'd almost argue, though, that something needs to change in the culture of the gun community, because
Absolutely
not everyone's going to be perfectly knowledgeable behind the counter, and often enough we kind of eat our own children in that he said one stupid thing but 9 right things. Let's focus on the one stupid thing. Okay, that to me is wrong. Help the guy out, you know, although occasionally there is the dumb moment that you just kind of put your head down into your lap and just go, oh God, just stop. So... But
well, another thing is the smaller businesses and the internet can do this. They can actually, like you said, they can have knowledgeable people because they have 1 or 2 guys behind the counter that are gun guys. This place, what's their turnover like? How many people do they have behind the gun counter? And did you even ask a gun guy? Did you ask a guy who was on his way through from sporting goods about 357 SIG? You know what I'm saying?
And it's hard to train for everything that somebody, you know, runs into. For example, here at Faxon, you know, we've been doing customer service a long time, and all of our customer service guys don't know everything. And, you know, for them to not just worry about, you know, one brand, but thousands, it's almost impossible to be perfect at that kind of thing. So,
yeah, good points. So let's move on to Hold Your Horses. Bass Pro Shops can't buy Cabela's just yet. Article from the Firearm blog. Apparently the FTC fears that this might be too much consolidation or a small monopoly. Just as curious, since this has been announced, shares have been dropping and shareholders are becoming concerned. The purchase price originally for this deal for was for $5.5 billion, but has already been adjusted all the way down to $4.5 billion. They just lopped off $1 billion there, you know.
Dude, how do you feel when your price drops 1,000 million?
well, that's a new perspective.
That's 1,000 million less that you're worth.
I think I could tell you, like here in Cincinnati, Cabela's and Bass Pro are 10 miles apart, and trying to support that large or that specialized of a store, and I think that's potentially what investors are starting to realize is, holy smokes, there's a lot of overlap between these companies. They're not going to be, you know, double the size. It's actually going to be about half to 2/3 the size, because they're going to have to right size themselves in the various markets that they sell to. And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, to the uninitiated like I was, I really thought they were part of the same company because they have the exact same look. I mean, it was like there's not much difference. I mean, it's almost a Burger King, McDonald's kind of thing going, you know?
Well, I just think it's interesting because, I mean, I get the idea that, oh, we don't want a monopoly. But my point is the whole reason that both of them are kind of in trouble is because it's not a monopoly. because we do have a lot of these smaller, leaner, internet-only companies that, quite frankly, have much lower overhead and are kicking their butt.
Yep. Look at Gander Mountain; they're getting their butt kicked too, and this was their, market for God knows how long. And then the internet came along and started, poo-pooing on all that.
Now, the thing I don't like is what happened with Dick's, where they just go ahead and go, yeah, we don't want to carry modern sporting rifles right now, and they just snatch everything off the shelf. So if you start having companies having a larger portion of that, all of a sudden they can pull them off the shelves after some harmful spree killer event, and they can just change what's available for most of America. You know what I mean? With a corporate policy based on stockholders, nothing about the law.
That's upsetting to me, but also if you want to stop carrying it, fine, you don't get my business, and you're going to go from 2 companies to 1 to none. And there's plenty of small shops in this country that are perfectly happy to take that business.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying, but I mean, at a place like this where it's already hard, it just gets more and more difficult and more ridiculous. But hey, listen, the business is business, and if you can't make it, either one of them, something's going to happen and somebody's going down, if not both.
Well, I mean, that's a really bad scenario. Is if the gun control groups figure out a way to drastically limit the amount of FFL locations. That could be a real problem. And with FFLs already in decline from 20, 30 years ago, if you look at the numbers, FFLs are in huge decline since the 80s. And then, like Tony said, if Cabela's or Bass Pros decides not to carry anything scary in black, Walmart's already done that to an extent. Walmart in the Chicagoland area doesn't sell black rifles, but they do in other areas. And that is just part. I mean, they can do what they want. That's part of their company policy, apparently. But it could become an issue if the amount of FFLs continue to dwindle, especially if you're in a less populated area where you might only have 1 or 2 FFLs to begin with.
Exactly. What I'm seeing is this, and maybe it's because of where I live now. Everything I see is an attack on the second through attrition every way possible from every angle. You know what I mean? So if you can kill the culture, if you can make those black rifles not something they see when they go into the Gander Mountain, when they go into the Bass Pro Shop, it'll slowly kill it off. I'm just saying, generationally, it will eventually kill it off, like has happened up here in the Northeast, or is happening in a lot of states in the Northeast.
I think maybe the economy has a lot more to do with this than maybe the politics or the gun accessibility. Because when I go to a Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's, it's more of a experience to see the fish in the tank and the mounts on the wall and buy the little things that you can't get at your local gun shops. But I don't spend, for the last 8 years, I haven't spent anything on anything that wasn't either ammunition or guns. And I looked for the cheapest price I could find it. And so I think that probably was pretty normal for most gun guys. They were buying what they could afford because it was sort of a scarcity or everyone's trying to get, stocked up on certain things. And all the things that they were probably making profit on, all the clothing and the high-end gadgets and stuff, probably just wasn't enough to carry all that debt they incurred building those big super museum-looking type of storefronts,
Oh, I'm sure it's multi-tiered. I mean, I don't think it's just one thing that gets us in this predicament. Can't be. So, nothing in life is that.
So back to something Nate said about them being so close in some metropolitan areas. One thing they could maybe do to remedy that, if they do combine, is make Bass Pro actually more what the name says and more, focused on fishing and that type of the market, and then have Cabela's more focused on the hunting and shooting side of the market, and maybe kind of split up the different markets they serve that way. No, nothing.
Well, I think they're probably just buying out the competition.
Kind of lean that.
Go ahead.
I think we lost Nate.
Oh,
Freeze.
okay. I said that, I think that in our case, the closest one to us was there was a Bass Pro, a Gander Mountain in Bowling Green, and then there was Cabela's came in. As soon as Cabela's came in, the lot was empty. Only cars in the parking lot was people working there because the prices were so much different. And I think, it might just be that, they're trying to eliminate some competition in this merger. They can take out, another person in that market, and then they'll have a bigger store or more, or at least more sales. I don't know that they're going to keep all those independents, all those stores open in the same markets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nate, are you back?
Yep, should be.
Okay. Did you want to round this out?
No, I think though what you had said was pretty poignant on the two stores already have their given markets, and you do see Bass Pro focus more on kind of the fishing side, and Cabela's is definitely more of the hunting, because you walk in and I can see the firearms section of Cabela's in terms of square footage, percentage-wise, much higher. The amount of ammunition, much higher. But then you go into the ancillary stuff like the meat preparation, the smokers, all of that takes up much more floor space than Bass Pro. But still, that said, there's still a substantial amount of overlap between the two.
All right, breaking news this week, Winchester awarded as ammunition supplier for U.S. Army modular handgun system contract. So as we talked about before, SIG won the new handgun contract for the Army, and now it looks like Winchester will be supplying the ammo.
Yep.
I thought part of that SIG winning the thing was because they manufactured ammunition.
No, they couldn't.
And that one of the
No.
SIG could. I thought that was one of the conditions they had ammunition manufactured.
I thought so too, but no, they just couldn't. They could not turn out the amount of ammo that's needed for this contract. Just no way. Winchester's rolling out like you can't believe. I found out at the Great American Outdoor Show that actually the company that's making the ammo for Browning, because Browning has their own line of ammo now. I did not know Winchester made that for them. Crazy, right?
Yep. And the basic response is everyone's, Winchester put out with this big press release, but the fact of the matter is, SIG had them as their ammo partner. Of course they're going to be given the contract for ammunition. Woohoo!
Yeah. Talk about signing in with a winning team, though, right?
Right. And you saw that. I mean, you had Olin, which I believe was with Glock. You had a couple of the others. Basically everyone paired up into their, given partner for the MHS contract. So, but
speaking of the contract, Glock is now protesting SIG winning the contract.
Yeah, they lighting cars on fire and flipping over. Oh no. Okay, sorry.
I'm
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
So, fortunately, my history before I came into the firearms world is I was in defense business development. So I went through multiple procurements, multi-million-dollar RFPs, etc. A protest is par for the course. It is not the big deal that everyone is making it out to be, and all the hubbub and hubbub that's been going on. Protests are just part of the contract, because when you think about it, it's a $500 million contract. Glock's already lost. So if they think they even have a 0.01% chance of winning this, wouldn't you file a protest too? That's normal.
I'm stuck on you using hullabaloo in a sentence. Did you just say hullabaloo?
Yes, I did.
You keep talking like that, mister. We're going to have us a Donnybrook. Really? Hullabaloo?
Well, I'm not allowed to curse. Jake keeps using the little beeper button, so I got to.
You already have 2 timestamps under your belt, Nate.
Already tonight? Oh, oops.
Yeah, you worried about a beeper button slowing down the show with a beep. I have to go and Google what the heck. What did you just say? I'm on WikiLeaks trying to follow this conversation. But yeah, it it is really true. It's par for the course. They have 100 days to protest, and they jump in. And from what I was reading, Doc Weston had spoken about this during the one of their shows, and he was talking about, yeah, companies are going to protest because they want to find out why their gun lost.
And that's the primary reason you protest is not because you're expecting the GAO to overturn the contract and order a rebid process. You protest it to get the legal basis to file a lawsuit to do the very same. Because the protest will allow you to gather more information from the program office on why they cancel or why they awarded the contract to somebody else. You're going to get access to some of the testing data and other things they didn't previously give you during your debrief. So it's perfectly normal, and the chances of Glock actually succeeding is somewhere between really small and probably ain't going to happen.
The other thing I thought was interesting, and I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but I guess it's, standard operating procedure that if you protest it within 5 days or whatever, then it will hold up the process. Well, Glock didn't. So I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it's interesting.
Nope, it is full halt on any protest for most large contracts, including this one. So basically, all the money that the government had given SIG, the government now has to tell SIG, hey, halt, which of course can be a way to screw with your enemies because they were spending money and all of a sudden the money spigot's being turned off and they still have POs open to all of their suppliers. So, that's kind of the Austrians giving SIG, hey, screw you. Congratulations, screw you.
Yeah, but the Austrians aren't really vindictive people, so I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, but Gaston Glock is.
Beretta enters new era with APX duty gun.
What's that? They came up with a striker-fired polymer pistol?
Pretty much.
Okay. So Beretta just became Springfield Armory. Okay.
We got a new Beretta is making their own, polymer frame striker-fired handgun. Springfield can't say the same.
Well, Springfield doesn't make anything. All their guns come from somewhere else.
They make a lot of their own stuff.
Okay, sure. Springfield Armory factory tour is like a storefront at a strip mall. Everything's shipped in from somewhere and stamped.
Don't they make M1As?
Sure, if you say so. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. I'm just being a jerk.
So how would you describe the Beretta APX? Anyone?
Glock with a lone wolf slide?
Yep. Really nice. 10 years too late.
Yeah. A Glock with a lone wolf slide. Done. Next.
Hey, you can use a 223 to decock the striker to disassemble the handgun. Yeah.
When did this become a feature that you have to pull the trigger to disassemble it? Why do I care? The gun's empty. That's one of the parts about unloading it. Okay. Wow.
So it looks like it's going to retail for $525, which means it could come in for the mid fours, maybe a little less. 27 ounces unloaded, 17 rounds. I mean, I think they're just doing what everyone else is doing right now. Remington and they're like,
Remington.
We gotta have a striker fired polymer pistol. We're if we don't come out with one now, we're never gonna do it.
Tell me something now. And then this is about where Beretta stands when you come to pistol marketing. Is it the Beretta M9? And then if it's not the Beretta M9, everything else is like a B level. You know what I mean? Is that where the Beretta is? Like A level company only with certain guns. You know what I mean? When you're talking about buying a pistol, you're talking about Berettas. Everyone thinking about the M9. Nobody's thinking about. But like the Storm, no one goes, yeah, the Beretta Storm or the Pico.
See, I think that's unfortunate because those are really good handguns. And
I'm just asking, where does it stand? Is that like on a different tier?
like the APX, do you think they're shooting for different? No, I think they're just trying to go get a piece of the standard market and compete straight up with Springfield, Glock, Smith & Wesson, and all the rest of them. Now, of course, I'm sure Beretta is going to sell it as a higher-end, more premium offering in terms of a marketing message, but the fact of the matter is, by retail price, it's not. So,
Yeah.
But it's still a solid handgun, and if it's the Beretta that I know and I've worked with quite a bit, they will have tested the living snot out of that thing, and that's something that I think they can really stand on compared to some of the other options out there.
I'm not saying it's not a quality firearm. Like when people talk about buying guns, usually in America, they talk about Glock, Smith & Wesson, especially with the guys I deal with. Glock, Smith & Wesson, HK, those are like the first step. And then the next step down is like a Beretta. I mean, just talking about known names, a Beretta, a Ruger, a Walther. None of these are bad guns. It's just there's different tiers, or maybe something that people recognize as a pistol. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're bad guns.
I mean, okay, by that definition, I'd put this APX as straight against the Glock any day of the week. But Beretta's got a challenge doing that just because those are completely entrenched competitors.
Yeah. But
well,
yeah, it's what everybody else has. Go ahead.
The other thing we could think about here is that maybe Beretta is not really making this for the U.S. market. Maybe they're looking at selling this to law enforcement in the European market.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a massive component of it. Now, they're not going to ignore the U.S. domestic market, but yes, the international military side, when you look at what Beretta's distribution of sales, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
All right, we got to keep moving. New holster sensor turns on police body cams when guns are drawn. This is the company, Taser Company has developed this. It's a new wireless holster sensor that alerts the police body camera when the officer draws his gun. It's the Axon Signal sidearm.
All right. Now, does it actually, I guess here's the pieces. At the point in time that you're pulling the handgun, it's probably too late to turn on the camera, because when cops pull the gun, shit's going down on a semi-regular basis. So is it what it's actually doing is saying, hey, I want to record, or I want to guarantee I record everything from the 10 minutes prior to pulling the gun, that way to guarantee the footage, or is it only timed such that it turns on and starts recording for the time the gun is pulled?
Well, that's what it sounds like. I mean, you can't record 10 minutes before the gun is pulled if it starts recording when the gun is pulled.
Well, right, but if it's a overwrite style memory system, it's just saying, all right, this gun's been pulled. I know I'm not going to overwrite this portion of my memory. Keep that intact.
Yeah, I see it as this, and it's really funny to me. When you get to the part about pulling out the gun, you don't get the lead up to what happened to get to this point, and I think that might be kind of important.
Yeah, I think out of anything, that's far more important than the actual gun being drawn and the shots being fired, is the context of the situation.
Exactly.
Now, this makes me a little bit afraid, because we see some less than stellar officers do some silly things. And so will this lead to officers pulling their guns early just to activate their body cams?
Well, if it's part of the Axon system, for example, we had a couple local police officers in our shop today, and they had Axon cameras right there smack dab, and they loved them the bit I had talked to them. But I think what it would just mean is that it's going to start saying, assuming it's hopefully along the idea of what I talked about, that it's just going to guarantee it's going to save that footage. It's going to make sure that's not overwritten in any way, shape, or form. Because, if you have a shooting incident and the officer, say, goes to the hospital and the gear is left, just on the floor, and it's only got enough memory for 12 hours of video, the last thing you want to have happen is the whole situation, is erased because nobody got the gear from the hospital because the officer's been there for 24 hours. So,
well, you bring up an interesting point. It could also do flags in the video timeline of this is when the gun came out.
Right, and that's because you're not going to see a gun camera, or it may be out of the frame because it's down at the officer's side or anything like that. Yeah, it gives you more of an awareness of what's going on. I like the technology. I think that's cool.
Yeah, you're right. That could be very cool. All right, moving on. I'm a 13-year-old girl, and I want to shoot. I hope you're not just tuning in right now. I identify as...
Nice.
Yeah. No. Headline says, I'm a 13-year-old girl and I want to shoot handguns in Iowa. So Iowa has this really goofy law where kids cannot even touch guns, even if they have parental supervision.
Having grown up partially in Iowa, I guarantee you practically nobody in the state follows that law. Because I had a 22 in my hands at 8 years old, so
they're gonna come after you now.
Oh,
there's another one of those laws. There's another one of those. We'll make a law and they'll keep kids safe, and then you've got this.
What I thought was interesting about the article, and you're right, the law is pretty stupid all the way around. But the crux of the story is the fact that this 13-year-old girl said, you know, this is dumb, and she did something about it, and she did a lot of work, and I mean her dad helped her and that kind of thing, but that's the way it's supposed to work, you know. We as citizens are supposed to go out, and if something doesn't make sense or it's not a good law or just, you know, isn't working, then that's our responsibility to go say something or do something about it, and props to her for doing it.
You mean you can call yourself names and just post memes and stuff, and that's not the same thing? Just be on the internet posting memes? No, you actually have to get up and participate in the democratic process to make something happen. But don't tell me that.
No,
well,
just
you can throw memes
just
as
copy
part of
paste in a Facebook thing's plenty fine.
Yeah, we had Cheyenne Roberts. She was 9 years old. She actually testified right before I did down in Trenton, and she was a competitive shooter. Actually, she just turned 10. And then what limiting magazine capacity would do to her as a competitor. And it was dead silence in the room, and they like, oh, it's so wonderful, you know, you're so well spoken. Meanwhile, they voted, you know, to shut it down. So it makes no difference the little applause they gave her. But yes, get involved. That's the only way you can make a difference. Don't just sit back and let it happen and say some silly stuff like vote from the rooftop when you won't even go down to your state capitol. Sorry, but you're not voting from a rooftop.
Absolutely. Okay, so Russians hacked the show. Breaking from Russia, Molat is bankrupt and will be sold. So this is the firearms manufacturer that you guys may know them as having the U.S. Vepr brand, which became bankrupt 5 years ago. And ever since then, the parent company here has been going through struggles and pretty much going through bankruptcy because they have a lot of debt. They have a value of assets which equal roughly 26 million. However, if that's auctioned off, that's only a little over half of their total debt of 41 million. And there's stipulations here for the auction where the company must have a firearms manufacturing license and be able to keep the company running after acquisition. I assume that's so they can eventually maybe pay that debt back, or I don't know. Very interesting coming out of Russia here.
I can't say I'm familiar enough with Russian bankruptcy law to understand what the implication of
That's
buying.
why I had you on the show. You said you knew everything about Russian bankruptcy law.
Well
I
played,
think he
Bob.
lied.
Well played.
I think he lied.
I mean, if it's anything like the U.S., which it probably is, I'm guessing, is that during the sale, whatever the company goes for will be divvied up amongst the creditors by their priority, and they're supposed to keep operating. But I'm guessing the reason is for that, you know, all these stipulations is probably because of the Russian government wants the company continuing to manufacture. They still want to have the domestic manufacturing capability and capacity, because otherwise then all they're going to have is Kalashnikov, which that's only really one plant. Same reason why the US government keeps multiple ammunition manufacturers, multiple manufacturers of guns, etc. You do it for a strategic defense purpose, not just a commercial one.
Well, this is a big company. The assets of this company include 91 buildings, 12,000 pieces of equipment and machinery, 13 patents, and 16 registered brands.
But 40 of those buildings were full of vodka.
And the rest of them were just tenements where they were slumlords. So, it's no big deal.
No. It's just a Trump plot. That's all it is. This is the Trump.
Yeah, low-cost housing and Indian casinos.
Trump, they got hurt by the import ban. So if Trump removes the import ban, somebody's going to get a screaming deal on an AK manufacturing factory that can, sell firearms into the U.S. market.
Yep.
There you go. Faxon should be looking at this.
I'll mention that to Bob. If I'm not on the show for the next couple of weeks, it's because I'm over in what's the name of this town?
Send us some vodka.
Yatsky Polyani. All right, I'll be in.
Yeah, and he really loves you because he's going to send you to Russia in the winter. That worked out well for everyone who's ever done that.
Hey, it might be like Sochi. It might.
Be like a Bond film. It'll be wonderful. Product recall. Some Brownell's AR-15 barrels drilled improperly.
Oops.
So,
drilled them sideways.
From a barrel manufacturer.
I knew this was coming back to me.
How does this happen?
Now, don't tell me you don't know anything about manufacturing barrels like you don't know anything about Russian bankruptcy laws.
No, I know a whole lot about manufacturing. All right, so here's the big deal. One, Faxon does not make Brownells as AR barrels, so I can say that so nobody goes, oh my God, you're defending, your shoddy work. No, I am going to state definitively that issues like that happen, and if you accidentally touch the rifling on the other side of the barrel, it doesn't mean diddly squat in terms of performance of that particular boomstick. Go shoot, go enjoy it, and if anything, it just tells you Brownell's commitment to its customers that a small quality issue or a small aesthetic issue warrants public recall of an entire line of products. To me, my hat's off to Brownell's.
Yeah, absolutely. Brownell's is going above and beyond here. It wasn't their fault. They have the part numbers of the affected barrels outlined below here in this article from the Firearm blog. But quite a few different barrels, so it's almost like they, I don't know, had a new guy on the machine for the weekend and something happened.
Yeah, somebody went through some serious parts, and they probably didn't set a bit correct for drill and gas ports. I mean, in a machine code, it's pretty easy to make that mistake. Now, their QC should have caught it, but it happens. But it's not the big deal that it's being made out to be. Now, shameless plug, you can buy a Faxon barrel through Brownell's, and we didn't do that.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. It's a perfect moment to advertise. Hey, Faxon barrels aren't like that. Drunk Bob didn't cut loose on our machine.
Henry Thousand Man Shoot 2017. This year they're going for many more shooters. Won't be a 1,000 Man shoot anymore, then will it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
We got Mo. We got Mo.
So yeah,
Henry's more than a 1,000 Man shoot.
They're looking for more than a 1,000 Man shoot, and you can actually go to 1000manshoot.com and you can try to get signed up for open slots. It looks like possibly you can enter your info, and maybe you can be one of the lucky people.
So do you pay to be one of the slots, or is it kind of, if you're lucky to be selected, they give you the rifle and everything, for a marketing effort?
But you don't get to keep the rifle.
What?
No, you do.
You do? I thought you did.
Yeah, I thought they all got to keep them.
John went last year, and he, I guess it was after the show. He showed us the rifle. He had it.
Oh, okay. Then all right, then it makes sense because I'm like, I'm not going all the way to the desert to shoot a rifle 3 times and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want the gun.
Still, props on Henry for setting aside the time to do something like this, and even just you talk about goodwill to the industry. Hey, they're setting Guinness Book of World Records, which they voided. I think was another article somewhere. So they're going to reset the article, and so they're going more than 1,000. So that way, the Guinness guy can say, "Nope, you actually had 1,000." So,
okay,
why was there somebody that? Go ahead.
Yeah, Guinness refused to give it to them because something about being they don't give rewards for unsafe situations or something ridiculous like that.
Wait a minute, it's Guinness. It's Guinness. We don't handle unsafe stuff. Now watch this guy jump out of a plane without a parachute and make Guinness Book of World Records. You had 1,000 people fire guns and nobody got hurt.
I think it came down to they were like, we're not going to make a new category for this. We have enough,
Seriously, they have the biggest pimple category.
Ball of twine category, largest pumpkin category, largest ulcer category, and 1,000 people fired off a gun. No one got hurt. Most people at one time, outside of I'm sure a battle situation, firing off guns at once. What idiots. Does anybody really run around going, hey, what's on Guinness Book of World Records this week?
They're going to have the Guinness people stand downrange next year to get a real close look.
Yeah, get a count. Get a round count.
Yeah, do it like VSO's video. Yeah, that'll be a good one.
That's where I get all of my quality training videos from.
All right, we have an update from a story we shared last year about Florida police chief. An officer were charged here in a fatal shooting of retiree during training. This is during simunitions training, and this lady lost her life. 73-year-old Mary Knowlton lost her life because somebody didn't check the rounds they were using in this simunitions class.
Jeez, one idiot, two. Sorry, go ahead, my man. Take it away.
Here's using Coyle, I guess that's how to pronounce the guy's name, was using the revolver that had been used before in these drills. And Lewis said in the aftermath of the shooting, we were unaware that any live ammunition existed for this kind of weapon. But we didn't have a magazine in a revolver, so we have no idea why it went off. I mean, what are you saying? It's a firearm. You check it. It only takes a second. It is a revolver. It's not like you have to drop the mag, lock the slide back, and check the chamber. It's a revolver. You killed a woman. And what is this? They may do 30 days? Days in jail. Yeah.
Jeez Louise. One idiot cop. Well, not idiot cop. Idiot. Two. Yeah. Gigantic idiot, and 3, you shot the woman. Isn't she supposed to be the hostage? You're not supposed to shoot her.
Obviously, you have not watched Speed. You shoot through the hostage.
I thought it was like the
documentary.
Okay, all right. Well,
haven't you ever role played? I mean, the old lady librarian is always the hidden bad guy.
All right, first off, there's a joke there. Have I ever role played?
Yeah, I know. That was awesome. I was
wondering. I was like, nope, I'm good.
I know Troy's got a wig.
Hey,
Troy's got a wig.
All right, I'm done. We're to the I'm offended section. Somebody here is definitely going to be offended tonight, if not already. Rotary Club.
Role play.
Rotary Club will not allow gun-related fundraisers. Wisconsin lawmaker threatens to quit Rotary Club over gun policy, and NSSF shides Rotary Club for its new gun policy.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the second is for everyone will take everyone's gun money. So if you want to raise some money selling guns and give them to me, I will take it at the drop of a hat. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Nice.
This seems like Rotary Club International got involved in this, and they decided to push their little anti-gun policy or whatever it was. And people went, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So they rethinking their policy. And if you have anything on your schedule,
I mean, I'm sure a lot of these rural Rotary clubs have for decades and decades and decades auctioned off firearms.
We had auctions, we had hunts, we had all kinds of things. You could, I mean, yeah, it's what we do.
Yeah, we had local PTA in the county that just moved from, and they always had a local gun store donate guns for their fundraisers. And this last year, there was a big blow up because one parent threw a fit, and he moved down here from New Jersey.
Yeah, we threw him out. They're annoying.
And he didn't want his kid going to a school that would allow the PTA to raise money off of a gun. No, I don't know if it was New Jersey, but he did move up here from the Northeast, and so it put the whole community in uproar. It was like 99% of the people said go ahead and do it, and so finally he shut up. But you got to shut that stuff down. You can't, you got to stand up, make noise.
You have to stand up and make noise, because what happens is the people from this area that have that silly agenda of theirs, oh, I can't believe you're doing that. Well, that's how we live down here. If you don't like it, you can go back to where you came from, and you have to come out and actually shut that garbage down. Local politicians just don't want noise made. They just want to get paid and go away. They're not going to stand up for you unless you make them.
Absolutely. Amazon, you can contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping our Amazon affiliate link or by clicking the Amazon banners on the website. Bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. If you happen to be shopping at a Bass Pro or Cabela's and scan something and see it cheaper on Amazon, you can use our affiliate link. Firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. We are to the full auto news segment. Stories the real media won't talk about and other crazy stuff. Each of the hosts picks a story to call their own here. Kurt, I see you're ready to rock and roll. What do you got?
Sure. So Brianna Wu, who is actually a game developer, is running for the Massachusetts 8th Congressional District. And well, on the 27th of February, she tweeted that the moon is probably the most tactically valuable military ground for Earth. Rocks dropped from there have power of hundreds of nuclear bombs. Yeah. Oddly enough, check it out.
Played too much Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
No, it gets better. The game she made called Revolution 60, you can get it on iTunes. It's about stopping a military spaceship from nuking the Earth. So I don't know. She didn't say how. Maybe they just drop rocks. I don't know.
I don't know. How dare you laugh at this woman? She's obviously a strategical genius, carved with Napoleon. And you should back off. We can stop ISIS from the moon.
Murr, our friend of the show, frequent guest Murr, posted. He shared something from some of the Flat Earth Society about a guy demonstrating how you can't deny that the Earth is flat, and then I dove into like the Flat Earthers Facebook pages and their whole world, and I'm like, oh my God. So this doesn't even surprise me. Like, this is on par with everything else I've seen.
Wait a minute. Did Nate post that up? Was that like an older guy with a globe?
Yeah.
And it was okay. Yeah. I started watching that when he was telling everyone how smart he was. I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for 30 years. I'm like, that doesn't prove you're intelligent. Bye, Felicia. I just clicked off. I don't have time for that. Tell me how the world is flat, man, so I can laugh at you and keep it moving. I don't need a 12-minute theory.
All right, Troy, what do you got?
Military Humvees on the auction block. I've been actually following this for a while. I always thought I wanted one until I've been trying to look at them. And they say, yeah, you can buy them for 4,000, but everyone I've bid on has went for like 11 or 12. Governmentplanet.com is where you can log in and create your own account, and then you verify you have funds to be able to purchase something like that. And so you get approved, and then you can bid on all these government vehicles that come up for the auctions. And a lot of them they look good. They'll actually show a video of it running, and they'll show the mileage and stuff, but they're sort of like tractors. I mean, they're not really, in their current configuration, you can't like just hop in and go down the road. You've got to get them like approved by the state.
Yeah, they're not
to be able
DOT
to have
legal.
tags. Yeah, so you got to get you got to have them inspected, and there's a lot of other fees involved. But every time I've went to bid on them, I mean, I would like to just have one to have on the farm here. I mean, that'd be a blast just to go around the farm with. But they lie about 4,000. I've never seen them go that cheap.
All right, I got to ask a question. Did you serve or have the unfortunate pleasure of serving?
No.
All right. So then this joke isn't as funny, but it'll work. Just Jeff Armstrong, he does the joke about, buying a formerly used rental car is like getting your wife from a house of ill repute. Yeah, these military Humvees have gone through guys like me, and let's just say we drove them hard.
Yeah.
Let me explain what we do in the military. We break everything.
I guarantee your Humvee is not parts number matching.
Yeah. Let's just say you'd be better off going to Enterprise and buying a rental car.
I was just trying to buy one cheap and do an engine swap in it. I was going to take out the 6.5 and find me a Cummins to do a swap. And
okay, all right.
Just make it my own.
You're going about the right path then, because the base Humvees, God knows how many times I was on convoy duty, and the sons of a guns broke down. So.
Oh yeah.
See, I didn't.
The motor comes in as garbage. Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, you've got a really nice. For the most part, they're pretty well. The frames and transmissions. I don't know what kind of condition they're in.
Suspension is pretty much bulletproof. Well,
yeah, the suspension
shot.
Yeah, but you got too much investment for me to. I'm not going to pay 11, 12 grand. Then you yank a motor out and then put a 12, 14 grand diesel and all the modifications you got to make it to work.
Is that what you're seeing them go for, 11 or 12 grand?
Everyone I've bid on, I'll bid up to about 6,000, 7,000, and then sky high. And they seem to sell in blocks. So I think somebody's like buying 10 or 20 of these things at a time and coming in with a semi and converting them. It's probably these guys converting them like Diesel Brothers or something like that.
Here's the good news. There's a few 100,000 more Humvees where that came from. And as Joint Light Tactical Vehicle comes online, the government's going to be surplus and a whole lot more of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not counting all the ones that, ISIS got from the Iraqis. So they'll put those on the market soon one day, too.
All right, Nate, what do you got?
All right, Amateur Gunsmith Mods, nearly cost competitive shooter her life. Don't buy a 1911 tricked out by Joe Bob, your friend. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And long story short, at least according to the article, the firearm just went off in the holster and shot this woman in the leg, which, as we know, you have a couple arteries running through there. Not a good situation. Mm-hmm. And she only survived because there were tourniquets around. So I guess second lesson, have your tourniquet with you when you're at the range.
Yeah, and that's very, very true, especially if it's a public range. Mm-hmm. Just say it. Done one, right?
Tony, what do you got?
Cool, because I really want to do this North Korean story because it's awesome. Since the death of Saddam Hussein, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is my favorite. He executed at least 5 senior security officials using anti-aircraft guns. Dude, he has the ultimate what are the Cards Against Humanity deck, and he just flips through. He's like, 5 guys, anti-aircraft fire.
Wow. Wow.
It's like, wow. It is just awesome, dude. He had his brother or half brother poisoned year, which was awesome because they finally caught the 2 women that did it because they said they were North Korean security agents. Well, no, the women that got caught said they thought they were on a reality TV show when they poisoned them. They didn't know what it was. The guy is awesome. He fed his uncle to a pack of dogs like last year. I mean, his family reunion is getting really, really small now, so he's starting to go outside the family and wax people.
Oh my God.
The guy is just the bomb. I mean, he only kills North Koreans, so I'm like, whatever.
All right,
He's
if somebody's going to
human being.
execute me, I appreciate that they'd use an anti-aircraft cannon versus a 22. Because even if you miss, I'm not walking away. So.
Yeah, you're not wounding someone with an anti-aircraft gun. I don't even care what caliber you use. 12.7, 20 millimeter, 30 millimeter. You're just done, dude.
So I got a question. Did they use a skeet thrower to throw them in the air and then shoot them down with the anti-aircraft gun?
Oh, nice. Nice. Got a catapult system just set up.
Yeah. Sling him 100 yards in the air and practice off the back.
Well, and here's the funny thing, because they remember the last time I was on the show, one of the stories was that he got drunk to execute like 200 generals and then sobered up and pulled the order. Yeah. Can you imagine all the people that were really bummed out, like all the lieutenant colonels that thought they were finally going to get promoted because all these old generals, because they stay in the military until they die. So it's like, yes, I'll finally get promoted, move out of my mom's basement. Wrong.
Tony, you are so in my zombie apocalypse group because I know you can handle the worst situations.
I just have a broken sense of humor, dude. Worst thing in the world that can happen for a guy that gets out of the Marine Corps. You get out of the Marine Corps and you start working for the Department of Corrections. Your sense of humor does not get better. Worse.
Right,
the reasons they have,
brother.
The reason they have walls around prison is to keep the guards in at least 8 hours a day because they run amok.
All right, I think I'm going to take French sniper accidentally fired his weapon.
Yes.
During the president's speech over there in France, the police sharpshooter protecting France's president accidentally fired his weapon and wounded 2 people.
I guess
Sacre bleu.
Joke, good French rifle only dropped once. They actually have to call that one used.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I look at it this way. That guy's a heck of a marksman. 1 round, 2 people. Good to go. He gets a medal.
So the BBC cited a local report noting that the safety catch on the rifle's gun was unlocked and the firearm discharged. Must have been a Remington. The sniper was positioned.
Wait, no. The safety was actually disengaged, so it can't be Remington. They, did what it was supposed to.
It's awesome.
So he was positioned on a roof about 330 feet away from where Holland was speaking. Shooting is under investigation.
I bet it is.
That's an easy investigation. He idiot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, unless he's related to somebody, this is going to be the quickest investigation known to mankind. This your rifle? Yep, he did it. Moving right along.
Okay. Anyone want to grab a second round here, real quick?
Okay, me, because this is awesome.
Okay.
It seems that in East Kentucky.
Hey, no.
Department was really cool.
I'm in West Kentucky.
They thought it was really cool to have a Punisher logo on the hood of their cop cars. In the wrong message to the community. And what they did was have their Blue Lives Matter, American flag logo with the blue streak through it, but also had the Punisher skull, and they put it on the middle of 8 of their vehicles. It out that the Punisher was actually a murdering psycho. And then all of a sudden they pulled it off. Like, I don't know, they didn't read the 30 years of comic books that the Punisher is in, or catch any of the movies. Might want to pay attention to stuff if you're going to have it as a logo.
All right. Anyone else?
I think it's just worth noting, proof that women are crazy, which thank God my wife's in bed right now, or I'd be smacked across the back of the head. But woman killed husband after arguing over burnt casserole. Casseroles are deadly, man. Just don't have them. Just don't do it.
It's a casserole, seriously. Oh, she was hot too.
Oh, well, that makes it okay then, right?
Yeah. I mean,
now she's single.
Yeah, she's
that's
single.
Your definition of hot?
Right, she's
no,
not.
No, of course not. Hey, listen, I've been married for 13 years, dude. My bar is pretty damn low.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. That you're right. It's pretty low.
Yeah, it's really low. No, this chick is heinous, but it's hilarious. Listen, don't complain about her food. That's all it is to it.
Pledge your support for Pro Gun Radio. You can support This Week in Guns by going to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. You can support us for as little as $5 per month, or you can pledge at the after show level and hang out with us every other week after the show. Firearmsradio.tv/pledge. And Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Check out the Patch of the Month Club. There's some enrollment slots still open for the March Patch of the Month subscription. Check it out. And we also have some new pre-orders over there. The 4 Rules of Firearms Safety morale patch, where you can slap that on your range bag and have the 4 rules with you wherever you go. Also, the ballistically artistic color your own AR-15 patch. That's right. It's like a coloring book morale patch. Color your own AR-15 patch. PatriotPatch.co. This is a part of the show where we see what these guys are up to and where you can connect with them online. Tony, what's up, and where can people connect with you online?
Well, you can connect with me online at diversityshoot.com, where I talk about the Second is for Everyone. It also has a donate button on there. What I try to do is bust up the negative stereotypes of firearms owners by introducing new people from every background: black, white, gay, straight, women. It makes no difference who you are or what you are. As long as you can legally touch a firearm, you can come out to our April 6th event. If you're going to shoot, we have a bunch of food, we have a bunch of prizes, and we have a bunch of really cool firearms owners that want to introduce you to firearms in a safe and fun way. Also, I have a donated 1022, one of my sponsors. And we actually had a post today about a guy who brought his mom, and that's the first gun she ever shot, was that 1022. She often thought that guns only belonged to police and military, but she came to the shoot anyway. She shot the 1022. She shot a 1911 45 caliber, and she's in love with guns and will be at the next event. So that's what I'm trying to do: make the gun community grow one at a time and kill that negative stereotype that the media puts on us. So if you want to help out, go to diversityshoot.com to even look at pictures or to donate. You can also go to Second is for Everyone on Facebook, or Simon Says Train on Instagram, or Simon Says Train on Facebook. Thanks a lot for having me on. I really appreciate it. I left everyone speechless.
Jake's muted or something.
Yeah, look, he froze.
I'm back.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome. Very cool. Links in the show notes to all these guys, where they're from and what they do. Nate, what's up at Faxon, and where can people connect with you online?
Lots of new things coming down the pike. Look for handgun barrels for popular platforms to be releasing soon. You could find us online at www.faxonfirearms.com, Instagram, Facebook, and all the usual social media outlets. And you will all have the pleasure of working, or if you ever see us chatting, it'll be Kurt or myself responding to you. So thanks for stopping by.
Very cool. Troy, what's up with the God and Guns podcast, and where can people connect with you online?
Sure, guideandgunspodcast.com, and you can find our podcast, and we're doing YouTube videos now. So I think we've got 9 under our belt, and we scare off most of the people, but if you can stand to watch us, we're glad to have you. But going good, staying busy. Doug has been hunting all winter long ducks, and he's got withdrawals. So if y'all see Doug, he's telling him you're pulling for him because he's got the not able to hunt ducks withdrawals. So thanks for having me on tonight.
And Kurt?
Yeah, like Nate said, you can find us on faxandfirearms.com. We're actually doing a giveaway right now for a flame-fluted 16-inch 300 blackout barrel. So you just hit the homepage, and there's a entry there.
Flame-fluted?
Yeah, flame-fluted. Ooh. Hey, could I tell everyone, please read The Woman Killed Her Husband After Arguing Over a Burnt Casserole story. If you ever wanted a list of things not to do or say after you kill your significant other, yeah, pay attention to that story.
Very cool. Well, that about wraps us up. You can leave your feedback at the bottom of the YouTube video, bottom of the Facebook video. You can leave us reviews on iTunes if you listen that way. The show streams live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And also releases via podcast every Friday morning. Also, just added the show to the Spreaker platform, so you can check us out there. And we're coming soon to iHeartRadio as well. So contribute to the show using the Amazon affiliate link. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Nate.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you, sir.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next week.